Pick up your MonsterVerse figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors! Steven here, and welcome to another MonsterVerse review. Will this be the last one for Godzilla vs. Kong? No, it won't. Don't worry, we'll have more. But for right now, we're going to be taking a look at the last of the big three from Godzilla vs. Kong, Mechagodzilla 2021. And oh my, this figure has a little bit of controversy to it. What's that going to be? Well, right out of the gate when this figure first dropped, we had reports of broken figures right out of the package. Oh me, oh my, not good. What happened? The hip pistons. Ooh, so should you be super duper afraid, or is it not really that big of an issue? Oh, by the way, it's going to be about $150. Yeah, reviews like this are definitely important. So relax. I'll get to them when I can. Don't worry. Let's take a look to see whether or not Mechagodzilla is going to be worth adding into your collection. So I gotta say the biggest issue with the looks department for Mechagodzilla is definitely going to be a lack of red paint. I mean, you could make the argument more so when he's charging up to fire his laser. That is an old meme. That is when he's more so red. And when he's not, maybe just that classic gunmetal color, but Mechagodzilla does look a bit bland here. Otherwise, what are you looking for with Mechagodzilla? They really kind of knocked it out of the park here. I'm going to work under the assumption that they once again had access to the CGI files, at least an early working version of Mechagodzilla, and quite frankly, I think that all the details here are fantastic. I know some folks were just going to be satisfied with the Playmates release and they weren't going to look to upgrade, but having not only the Playmates release, but the Movie Monster Series one in my possession as well, I don't anymore, I can safely say that this one is significantly more detailed and has some fantastic paint applications where it's applied. And do not be confused whatsoever. It does look like there are going to be some silver paint apps strategically applied in some areas to enhance the details. So all in all, I think Mechagodzilla does look really good for what we have. He does just need some more red paint. By the way, oh, you thought I was done, didn't you? Nope. We just got a little bit more to talk about. And what's going to be that? I'm going to be honest with you here, folks. I'm pretty much going to try to get every single piece of this figure photographed. But he has so many different hidden compartments, like the blasters that are going to be worked into his shoulder pads. Huh? And the missile launchers in his chest. What? Yeah, there are so many different parts here to Mechagodzilla. Maybe I missed something. If I did, it's more to look forward to when you open yours. And I'm totally not just adding things on at the last second because I forgot about them. Diecast, what do we have? It feels like the feet and the chest are most specifically going to have diecast parts. It really does feel like that. The thighs maybe feel like they have diecast too. They feel a little bit cold to me. I did take them out of the freezer, so I'm working with what I got here. And you can obviously tell that there are going to be some die-cast parts used in the joints, most notably the thighs, which that just means it's a meme and the hips are going to get loose. So, yeah. But still, I think that die-cast actually does add a little bit of weight. But personally, I can go without. That's fine with me. Those of you who are familiar with the higher-end robot figures that Bandai does, congratulations. You are used to the intricate engineering Bandai has done here. But at the same time, there is a little bit of a flaw that we're going to go ahead and talk about. At some point, I'm going to figure out how to get this in there. You'll notice that the hip pistons are removed. That's going to be the flaw. The tail is also a bit of a concern as well. Let's talk about what we have here. So Mechagodzilla's jaw opens and closes pretty much effectively on a hinge. And once you move the head up a little bit, you can get that sucker to open real wide. Look at that. And then you can see the little turbine in there that moves, which is really cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close the jaw up. So you are going to have to use the ball joint here to move Mechagodzilla's head, so this way you can open up the jaw as wide as you need to. So he can look around just like that with just that ball joint there. The beauty of the neck is, just like the MonsterVerse Godzilla figure, there are going to be a system. There is going to be a system of ball joints here that allows Mechagodzilla to look that far down, that far up, and twist and turn from side to side. there's pretty much going to be no articulation in the torso whatsoever. So basically, to get him to look around, even to crane his neck this way and that way, you're going to rely on this section pretty much entirely. Thankfully, Tamashii Nations really thought about that, and the neck articulation is pretty good. Shoulder pads. As you kind of saw in the sculpt and paint section, he's got some hidden armament in here. He's got some little cannons, which, oh boy. Yeah, you're going to have to use a very small object to help lift that up. If you got some fingernails, I really don't. You can do that, but they're going to open and close on hinges. The shoulder pads in and of themselves, they're going to be on hinges as well, and they are going to be able to move. So this way, the shoulder articulation, we'll talk about that in specific in a second, out of the way. So that's pretty good there. Any other movement there? No. All right, so Mechagodzilla is going to be rocking. Bandai recently seems to have a fetish with butterfly hinges, and they're killing it, right? Ball joint butterfly hinges. But ball joints. Yeah, so ball joints. So you can see the arm can move around all like this, which is really good. For some reason, whenever I push down, it seems like there's a natural inclination to want to move up. So I don't know if maybe that is actually just going to be a hinge, and there's just a little bit of wiggle movement in one direction or another, but you do have some floating in here, which is good. Now, you are going to have swivels, which allow you to move the arms pretty much all the way around. Let's go ahead and utilize a hinge as well. That allows you to move the arm like that. So you can get a full 360 spin if you should need it. So yes, you can get a hinge out of that as well. So T-posing Mechagodzilla, that's kind of a... How did he lose? Anyway, yes, so hinge to raise and lower the arm. Now, here's one of the things. If he's got a bicep swivel, it's kind of stuck, and it don't want to work for me. So I'm assuming no on the bicep swivel. We do have a single hinge elbow, which on mine, basically they didn't want to move. I had to use a drip of shock oil to free them up. And then once they were freed up, they moved. And they get about both that much range of movement, which is good. Now, no bicep swivel, but swivel at the elbow. And we can pretty much, let's go ahead and give it a little bit more range there, spin all the way around. Okay? Wrists. Both sets of hands are going to be on ball joints, and they basically spin around. They plug in, but no other movement. It's just going to be a ball joint. All right. So he's got some missiles here in his torso. Those doors open and close on hinges. Just like that. Real easy. Okay. Tail. Because this will be easier. We have a section of ball joints here. Let me go ahead and move the legs out of the way. And as you can see, we have some good movement going this way. Going up. Like so. Like this. And like this. Now, you can probably hear over the mic some creaking and cracking. There have been some reports of the tail showing no resistance, no sticking, no issues, and then people go to touch it, and then one of the ball joints shears right off. That's been a more recent issue that some folks have been bringing up. I don't know anything about this. This is only new. I'm not invalidating them in any way, shape, or form. Without handling it in person, I don't know what the issue may or may not have been. So just be careful. The only thing that I could think of is maybe when we're moving the joint, we're actually bending the ball peg, which is not good. So it's kind of like rubber. All right. Be prepared for about a 20-minute section. Damn it. Okay. Hips. What do we got? Well, first and foremost, we do have some actual die cast here to help support the hip joints. So this is pretty good. Okay, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and make sure the arms are completely out of the way here. So this way I don't have to worry about fiddling them around or getting the hips in shot. First and foremost, we're going to have this section here, which is mostly just going to float. Okay, and there is going to be one hip piston for this section. It's going to be on here as well, and that's going to float. Now, kind of floats. I think maybe that's just going to be on a swivel or something, maybe a ball joint. It doesn't really do anything except for this piston, as you go to move the leg up, does collide in with his ribs, I guess, as you can clearly see right there. So that's going to be the extent of the range of the swivel moving up. Moving back, because the hip's on a swivel, I'm trying to really push harder going back. This is more than $150 figure. I don't really feel comfortable pushing it much more. So it seems like for the swivel or the hinge, whatever that would technically be, forward and back, that's about the extent of movement for Mechagodzilla. Hinge out to the side. Oh, what do we have there? Yeah, some pretty good movement. Now, let's keep going. Swivels. We have thigh swivels. Little bit of movement there. Okay, pretty good. Knee hinge. Oh boy. Okay, so we have pistons in the back that actually move. Look at that. That's pretty cool. They slide in and out, which is good. Single hinge, which it is what it is. Okay, unless there's a double hinge hidden in here somewhere, but this is the extent of the movement that we're going to get. We have a portion of the ankle that moves up on a hinge. Then we have an ankle guard here that moves up on a hinge. For the actual feet, they move forward and back on hinges. And then they have hinges for ankle rocker movement. Okay, now, I think that's the core articulation of Mechagodzilla. I did not talk about the hip pistons here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Did you ever think you would be this up close and personal with a robotic lizard pelvis? Nope, I didn't think so either. Okay, so what's going on here with these infamous hip pistons with Mechagodzilla? It seems like everything about King Ghidorah in this lineup is kind of cursed, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different pistons. Now, when this figure basically dropped in Japan, immediately we had reports of broken hip pistons. There were even some secondhand sites that warned the pistons may be broken in package. So treat it with care. In the United States, it's been reported by some folks that this is going to be heavily allocated, which means orders are frequently going up and down from people canceling because it's not going to be that widely available. From what I've been hearing, c'est la vie. So what do you got to do? Or what does the articulation look like to begin with? So these pistons are actually on ball joints, very, very small ball joints attached in here. So as you can kind of see, they like to move around. Actually, let me just go ahead and slide this bad boy in there. You can kind of see we do have a little bit of give, right? And they have hinges, so they move like that. Then these, where they plug in, are on ball joints. So as you can imagine, we have 4 here in total. Those have to work perfectly with all of the different ranges of movement that you're going to be moving the legs around in. Yeah, you're probably going to break them. So be careful. What I did was I'm going to snap so this way I take care of myself in editing. I just go ahead and I remove those hip pistons, and pretty much here's how you do it. You're going to need to extend the full range of movement to the leg out to the side with the hinge like he's going to be doing the splits, right? Then, since the hip pistons are going to be on ball joints, all you got to do is just angle them up if they're the front set or back if they're the bottom set, and you just kind of got to wiggle them. And since the actual piston, the actual peg in and of itself is plugged into the thigh on a ball joint, get a little bit of wiggle room, and eventually it'll just pop right out, and you can pull the actual piston out with no issues. Then you're going to have those dangling there, but quite frankly, it's better to have this than to have a broken $150 figure. All right, so all in all, in terms of articulation, they had to work in some gimmicks. But what they were able to do with the articulation, I think, is rather nice. This hip piston thing, they really should have maybe thought about that just a little bit better. And then also as well, these here, they apparently like to break. I don't know. But I'm actually rather pleased considering the gimmicks. But I would be honestly fine if they dropped this and they added torso articulation. But that's just me. I think Mechagodzilla moves well enough, and you can get him into some fun poses. I've been having a great time moving this guy around. Now, accessories. If you just kind of took a look at this guy in promo pics and the unboxing, you'd see this. And you think to yourself, an extra set of hands. No. What do we get? Something really cool. So, Mechagodzilla in total, for one hand, we are going to get 2 sets of fingertips and 2 sets of palms. What does that mean? So, Mechagodzilla is going to come with curled fingers, splayed fingers, a straight out palm, and a curved palm. So this way you can get several different display options for his hand. And you are going to be able to pop them off and swap them out just like that. You just grip it and do that, and then you pop the new set on. Here's going to be some of the pictures with the different combinations. Honestly, seeing the promotional pictures, like most, I thought, why didn't they just do articulated fingers? In actual execution, yeah, I commend Bandai for this. This was actually really well thought out, and it's good. This actually really works. Admittedly, it is a pain popping the hands on and off and alternating between the different palm parts, but yeah, this works. This is pretty cool. You can come up with a whole bunch of different combinations. You can get Mechagodzilla to make a fist. He can pinch something or whatever you want to do. So this is really cool. Now, admittedly, he should have come with a particular photon effect, you know, recreate an infamous beam battle, but I don't get paid to make those decisions. But of course, if you need effect parts or support stands, you know I got videos to help you out. And now we're going to round out the review with a size comparison so you can see how big Mechagodzilla is. And yeah, I do got to say, this is one big boy. Yeah, he is definitely tall. Not necessarily very wide, but yeah, he's going to take up a nice amount of space on your shelf. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. With the ongoing situation, I'm using specific words that do not trigger YouTube's automated system. Please keep in mind that, you know, your order may be just a little bit delayed, but considering the price that you can get at retail of about $150 or so, I actually think Mechagodzilla is going to be worth it, assuming yours comes with no issues like mine did. The hip pistons, in the instructions, it actually does make mention that they can pop out, so I encourage you, pop them out. Otherwise, the articulation, considering the design and the gimmicks that they worked in, is rather serviceable with no concerns. The biggest thing is definitely, however, going to be the lack of a beam effect, which I don't know why they didn't include in here, unless they're saving it for a special color version, which I'm expecting. But if you only want one and you're done, this definitely isn't a bad choice. Considering we saved a couple of coins with Godzilla 2021 and Kong 2021, I think we can use what we saved there and put it towards bringing this guy home.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.